Good evening. It is October 6th, 2023. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and see what we're looking at here. So the video last time on Monday was entitled Slight Delay on the Dump, but it's likely still coming. In the short term, I said small bounce up to 27.7 to 28.1 regions to be expected. We've seen that. In fact, today it hit about 28.2. But as long as Bitcoin remains below 28,450, we should then proceed to dump and slide into the low 20Ks. If it does make it above 28,450, it is probably just finding a top higher up, closer to 29, and then it's still going to die. So, that still remains a possibility as well, but we'll take a look at that. And the very, very small chance that the bulls have relies on a potential diagonal with a pretty crappy third wave. So the bulls have to hold above 26.7-ish and then push upwards again to near 30K. We don't have any indication that that's going to happen. We still don't have any indication that that is going to happen. So quick overview here. Just in the bigger picture, again, I'm going to turn all of my drawings off here real quick. You can see this very clearly here is three waves up. From the bottom we have A, B, C. Therefore any bullish potential we have is a diagonal, but typically when you see ABCs it means it's a correction and we can expect further downside. So that is certainly a possibility that all of this is simply a correction before it heads down to 10K or so. But for me, I am looking at potential bullish support zones and then just watching the reaction from them to see if maybe we're going to get that bullish diagonal or not. So what we have, as you can see, I've got my A, B, and C labeled right there. And then since then, we didn't really get low enough here with this dump for that to be all of the second wave. So I said we might be getting WXY, and it turned into an expanded flat WXY, where the X actually went higher than the start of the correction back here. And we should be seeing a Y wave down now, right? And Y waves should consist of three waves down, meaning we have our A in blue, right? This is our A wave here. We have our B wave top, most likely already right there, though. Again, if it goes higher, it could reset that top up near 29K, but for now I'm assuming the top is already in, and we're then going to head down to C. And this zone overlaps very nicely with the larger potential wave 2 for that potential bullish scenario that I've talked about. But we really do have to see how it reacts from this area once we get there to determine whether or not the bulls have any chance at all. Because if we see it start crashing down through, instead of this being ABC down in a Y, this is going to then look like 1, 2, 3. We'll then see a 4 and a 5, and that would lead us down into the 10K area and potentially even lower than that. So this yellow box is pretty darn important for the bulls to hold, and that extends down to about 21K, and there will be some leeway there once the dump gets in progress a little bit more here. We'll draw the fibs again and kind of get target areas and see what might invalidate any bullish possibilities at all at that time. All right, so all of that being said, let's zoom in a little bit more here. So here's our B wave top that I was talking about right there, which was beautiful in the 28 to 29K area that I was looking for. We had a WXY up in that, and now I believe, had the first wave down here, and then we should be working on the second wave, and then we should proceed downwards like that, and that is within C. Now, most likely, let's see, based on how small this is probably just going to be wave 1 of C. So this will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get us down into the 25.5-ish area. And that's going to be our larger wave 1 because we're still not here, right? So this will be wave 1, then we get wave 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. In the bullish scenario, we need to see that. And those 5 waves need to hold that sort of 21K area. So we'll see if they're able to do that or if this turns into a much larger dump, as I said. All right, so that's what we're looking for there. Real quick, let's go over the bullish possibility since I have that drawn on here in red. This diagonal right here relies on this being our wave 1, this being our wave 2, an anemic third wave. We're working on 4, so even if this is going to be the bullish diagonal, we're probably coming back down to test this area, you know, kind of 27-ish, somewhere in that region, and then we would need to see an ABC up. For 5, that should get us up near 30K. And then we potentially have a 5-wave move up. Now this would make it really tricky because all of this is 3-wave moves, which means the entire thing could then be counted as a 3-wave move. And it could then either be bullish or not bullish. So that would complicate matters quite a bit if it did move up. And it could mean either, you know, if we get this area, we may then get a 3-wave move down and then proceed upwards. Or, as I said, this could look like 3 waves here, and instead of getting 3 waves down, we may then get 5 waves down into the yellow zone. So that's one of the reasons diagonals are just super unreliable and very hard to trade. All right, so that is the only bullish potential that we have right now, though, without going down first. All right, zooming in a little bit more now. What I believe we have, first off, this looked like a fairly decent 5-wave move down to this region here. And that was on Monday, so I went over that, and we've got a potential 5-wave move down right there. And it looks like we have an expanding flat. And I said this earlier today in the members chat. Because this was 3 waves down, it made that look like a B wave. And so the best way to count this is we have A, B, and C. I even called the top of this C wave here in the members group earlier today. Because, let me go down to the 5-minute, I'll show you what I was looking at here. This C wave top consisted of a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there, it followed all the fibs really nicely. And so, right about here, I said it looks like this is doing a 5-wave move. I'm going to go ahead and add shorts in the 28.2 to 28.3 area. And that is exactly where it topped out. So for now, that's looking really promising, looking really good. Super micro. It looks like, you know, hopefully we're working on a 5-wave move down here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, or something like that. And then 5 should bring us down to about 27.7 to 27.8, somewhere in that region. That would give us our initial 5-wave move down. Then we get a nice little bounce, and then we head down further. So that is very, very short term what we are probably looking at. And that is, I hesitate to give, you know, invalidations here on such a low time frame, but technically above, let's call it 28K. If it goes back above 28K, it would kind of throw that into question, but it could be doing something else. It's possible this is already done. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, and maybe now we're working on the correction upwards. That could go above 28K and then still die. So again, you know, with such a low time frame, there's kind of some left to be desired as far as accuracy goes. But as of right now, this is what I'm looking at. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that this C wave top we saw today in that 28.2, 28.3 area was the top of our wave 2. And there's really nothing particularly bullish about anything that we saw today. This is a 5-wave move, so potentially instead of it being a C wave, you know, especially because it kind of double bottomed here, maybe there's a small chance this could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and give us that 5th wave up, but I very much doubt it because we didn't hit this yet, and it looks a lot better as a C wave, to be honest. So anyway, we'll have to see how that plays out, but lots of different possibilities still remain on the table. Okay, let's look at just this, assuming we have that top in place. We're going to say this is probably 1 there, 2 there, and just get a count downwards. 1, 2, 3, looks like about 26K. 4 can bounce up into the high 26s, and then 5 down, as I said, to about 25.5. And this is sort of our path downwards. If we've hit top already, that'll be our initial path down. So I'm going to be looking for this to continue downwards and a nice 5-wave move down to finish that wave 3, bounce, 5 waves down to wave 5, and then again we'll bounce and then we'll head down. So quite a bit of bouncing around is still to be expected, although it is always possible for Bitcoin to just do a more direct dump. That is kind of its style, that it does, you know, just kind of suddenly dumps. So keep that in mind. It very well could just do that. All right, I think that sums it up. I mean, main thing to keep in mind is that it is most likely that we're going to continue to see downward motion from Bitcoin. There's a very slim possibility of bullish outcome, but even if it goes back up into the 29Ks, you know, we're probably looking at further downside to come, based on all the choppy action we've seen to the upside. All right, yeah, I think that's it. Let's see what the weekend brings. I'll touch base again on Monday if we have anything to talk about. Otherwise, I will delay and do a video when there is something to talk about. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Talk to you later.